Honiara. Honiara is the local language of this place where Honiara is located. And the word Naho means facing or facing towards. Ara means east wind. So the spot of Honiara is always facing the east wind. And that's why the locals say Honiara. So that's the original name of Honiara. On the British were very fancy to say Honiara instead of Honiara. And so that's how it comes about. However, Honiara is situated in the local language called Tandai language people. And so that is the Tandai tribe living in Honiara originally before the war. And after the war, when the Americans constructed the infrastructure in Guadalcanal, the original people of Honiara moved further eastwards and further westwards. And so Honiara is vacated in order to build a town. Because the original town was in Tulagi, in the Florida group of islands. And that's where the colonial town is created by the British from 1893. So Honiara is vacated and the Americans constructed the infrastructure on Guadalcanal since after the World War II. So communication is a really difficult thing. It's not easy to communicate in the Solomons. And that's why English is an option, and of course Pidgin English was created in order to communicate with people easily. Pidgin English is the broken lingo out of English and French words inside.
Well, this is the World War II memorial up here on the first one off the bus, and there's a lot of different plaques around here. We're only going to spend 15 or 20 minutes here, so you can see, you stop the vid if you want to read that then. And that's a nice look at it. We got the big star here. There's a plaque on it too. It says the warrior down there. Then they come out, more plaques, and they tell about the battle here, all on the sides here. And you got a big lookout over the water. We're a good vantage point here. I'm here on the Solomon Islands, here in the town of Honiara, and we're doing a little ground tour before we get on the ship this afternoon. There's all the people down there, and this is, of course, I am here reporting to you, so you can see it in back of me. Very hot, it's like up in the 80s, very humid, and everything also here. So we're going to have some good videos here, I hope. All right, Ed Getley, M1 Man Travel, signing off. All right.
This is Hill 73. As I say, the Americans used the numbers and the code name to identify their locations during the World War II. So we are standing on the hill number 73 by the Americans. This monument, as I said previously, was built in 1992 to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the Battle of Guadalcanal. Why was it this site was elected to build this monument? For three basic reasons. One is accessible. Two is you have the overview of the whole Battle of Guadalcanal, east to west, north to south. And third, in itself is a burial ground for the Americans who died and buried on this spot during the World War II. As you see the star right here now, this is in memory of one of the American soldier who died and killed by the Japanese during the battle and buried here. And it was previously known as the Unknown Warrior. And later on they found the finger ring when they dug and constructed these places, sent it back to Hawaii, and they refined it and find out that it was J.B. Brannick. So it was now known as Colonel Brannick, who is the soldier who died in this and buried in this spot. As we look towards north, that is the sea between Guadalcanal and Florida group, which is called Iron Bottom Sound. And that's where all the ships who fought during the World War II were sunk on that ocean. You look south that way, for the Americans, this hill on your right, the grass hill, the American calls it the galloping horse. It looks like when you fly on the sea, on the air, you can see like a galloping horse like that, shapes like that. And when you look further inland, the grass hill in between there, it shapes like a she-horse. So the American call that hill seahorse. If you look further on the south, but southwest, southeast, that is hill number 23. For the Japanese, that is a Gifu Hill, reoccupied by the Japanese soldiers in order to take back Henderson Field, where they deserted because of the Americans pushed them out during the construction of that airstrip. We will drive past there later on. And so for the Japanese, it was called Gifu Hill because most of the Japanese soldiers who situated on that hill were from Gifu Prefecture in Japan. And that's why they call it Gifu Hill.
Well, we're going to walk up and see the map here of the area.
That's true.
John, our excellent guide here, is saying that they got a good map here. It says all down here. It says you are here. So this is where we're at. It's very hot when I touch it, so I don't want to touch that. I get my fingers burnt, but you can see it, and I'll try to get a better view without the sun on it there. And it's overlooking right out here as we turn here. And there it is. I'll get a happy snap of it here in a minute.